Howdy, welcome back to the Build Your Own BPOS course. So after spending a couple lessons focused on reports, we will be switching back to building the database a little bit more with product profiles here in this lesson. However, as you'll come to see, there's a lot more to product profiles than meets the eye. We will not necessarily be going through this agenda here in a linear fashion per se, but we will first be covering what product profiles are and how to create them. We will create a couple while showing you how they can be implemented in various ways throughout back office. So first things first, as a prerequisite to being able to maintain product profiles, there is an operator flag that needs to be on. It is in, if I just find a record to open here, it is going to be in on the maintenance tab in the product section here, and if we come down to the bottom, is going to be this one called maintain product profiles. So just make sure that's on for yourself or anyone else who is going to need to maintain them. Okay, so what are product profiles? We've mentioned them here or there throughout the course a couple times, but haven't really explained them at all. Essentially what we do with product profiles is, well, first of all, we can create a bunch of different ones. We can create multiple product profiles, and for each one, we can set parameters that products will need to meet in order to fit or match to the profile. All the products that then match to the defined parameters that fit the profile will then be grouped together, and the whole profile and the products that belong to it can be implemented in different areas of the system. That means that let's say 20 products are all configured in such a way that they match the parameters of a product profile that's been created, and we could then filter a product-based report to only show those 20 products, so only show us data for those 20 products that fit to the product profile. Actually, it might just be easier if we head to the product profiles component, and I can explain as we go through them. We don't have to go far. They are going to be in the maintenance menu, and they are going to be at the bottom called product profiles. Not much to this window here. Once we've got some product profiles created, they will be listed, but we do have options at the top for adding, editing, deleting, and this one here, recreate key lists. We will get to that later on in the lesson, but for now what we'll do is just go ahead and add a new one. Cool, so this window looks pretty straightforward. It really is. We do need to name our profile, but we will do that after we define some parameters for this. And these key list related settings we will come back to later also. It's kind of the second half or an enhancement to our product profile, so we'll see their functionality towards the end of the lesson. But yeah, we can see that the configuration here is split into these two tabs. We have our standard product fields, and we've got other info or custom fields. Now, we have obviously not gotten into custom fields yet, and we aren't going to cover them in depth in this course since they are a bit of an advanced topic. But in a few minutes in this lesson, I will briefly touch on what they are, and should be able to make sense how they could then be used within product profiles. If you would like to learn much more about custom fields, we do have plenty of resources in my BPOS that explain what they are and how they can be implemented throughout the system, separate to anything related to product profiles. And by the way, not only for products, but about a half dozen other system components too, but we will, like I said, briefly touch on that later, and then feel free to have a search through my BPOS, and like I said, view plenty of resources that we have for custom info and custom fields there. We've got written documentation, we've got plenty of videos as well. But anyway, we'll come back to that tab later. We will start with this one, our standard product fields, which we can see is then broken down further into three separate sections. We've got base settings, we have flags, and we have product groups. So all up, there's about a dozen or so total options here that we can combine together to create a profile. If we want to combine any together, that is, a profile could just use one of these if we wanted it to. And if we do have product custom fields implemented, those could be combined along with these, or we could just use one custom field for a profile. Lots and lots of options. But anyway, these base settings include, you can see just a bunch of drop downs here. So for the product mode, that's going to list all of those. So maybe we want to set it to package fixed, and then for a product to match to the profile, it will need to be set up as package fixed. The product type and the product sort dropdowns will list out all of those respectively, whether we've defined them with names or not. So even the ones that we have not defined names for will still be shown in the list here, just with their number. And the same idea for the store type dropdown. It's going to list those four, which you may remember from past lessons can be set in the product's stock settings section. So we could do something as simple as create a profile with just a product mode selected, and then maybe a product sort. We might set that to entrees. What this would mean is that only products that match to both of those things that are configured with those exact settings will be included when the profile is implemented in the system. By the way, any field that is left as ignore will do just that and will not take that setting into consideration at all for the product profile. Now these export codes are a little bit different if product export codes are even being used in the system, but we first need to choose one of these sort of qualifiers from the dropdown here: equals, contains, starts with, something like that, and then enter some text into the field here. So maybe starts with 1, 2, 3, for example. In our very illogical example here now, we're saying that for a product to meet the parameters of this profile, it needs to be package fixed, be assigned the entree product sort, and have an export code starting with 1, 2, 3. And so you can probably start to see how product profiles can be used to get pretty exact with which products will match to them. So the next section down, then we've got our flags, which are corresponding to various flags that can be found within product settings. Let me just add a name here. I'll just call this test for now, and I will save it, and I will show you to refresh your memory. So if we go to our product list, I'll just open up any product here. So some of those flag dropdowns within the product profile setup are going to be referring to these stock mode options here, which used to be configured as flags. They might still be configured as flags in your system depending on which version of the software you're on, but these used to be implemented as a number of flags that were actually listed right down here in this stock settings section. Some of the product profile flags though, like no reorder, we can see that, oh, that's up here as well, my mistake. And then we've got the daily specials flag down here, are still flag options that we can see within our product settings. Anyway, if we cancel out of that, we go back to our product profiles. I'll open that one back up so we can see that those correspond to some of those options there, as I mentioned. By the way, now that we have saved this, if I cancel out of this for a second, we can see from the product profiles list that we can now see a description that's going to show the parameters that have been set for this profile. And when we open that up, we can see those listed out at the top of the window here too. But yeah, back to the flags. These will all have the same three options here: ignore, is true, or is false. So if we wanted this profile to maybe include products with the no reorder flag ticked on, we would select is true here. Or if we wanted to only include products that have a certain flag turned off, we would then need to set that to is false. Otherwise, just leave it as ignore, and like I said, then in that case the product profile just will not look at that flag at all. It will not be taken into consideration. It will be ignored. Cool. Then lastly on this tab, we have our product groups. So relatively straightforward here. These drop downs are used to either include or exclude specific product groups from matching to the profile. So keep in mind that all these things do need to be combined together for the product to match to the profile. It needs to meet all of the parameters that are set. So this example is already very illogical, but we'll create some in a bit that will make sense. So if we wanted to maybe only include products that belong to the beverages product group, we could do that. By the way, these will list out all of the system's product groups. From the top, we can see our base product group all the way down to the lowest branched groups that are in the system. So however your product list is created and configured, every single product group will be listed here. Now these two dropdowns could be used alone, or they could be combined. For example, we might say that while we do want to include products from the beverage product group, maybe we want to exclude cocktails, which is a subgroup of beverages. Now obviously you'll just need to know your product list in your database and which groups are subgroups of other groups to have that make sense. But yeah, that is something that we could do. So in this case, we're essentially saying that only the other beverage subgroups products will be included in the profile. Cool. What we can do then, once we have some parameters set, is we could use this View Products button, which is at the bottom. We can see which products currently meet the parameters and match to the profile. Now I say currently meet because of course product settings can change. So a product that doesn't match the parameters today, maybe the daily specials flag is one of the parameters and we've got that set to is true, meaning that the flag needs to be on. Maybe a product doesn't have that on today, so it does not currently meet the parameters of the profile, but maybe between today and tomorrow it does get set, meaning that it will match to the parameters of the profile and will be included and will be a product that we would be able to see if we hit View Products here. But anyway, I will click that so we can check, but I already knew, even if we go to the base product group, we will not have any products that meet this wacky combination of parameters that I've set here. If we did, they would be shown. This is simply going to be a product list that has been filtered, we can see, using this product profile. I will just close this for now though, and we will create some that will be logical in just a minute. But first I do just want to quickly run through this custom fields tab. Now we obviously don't have any product custom fields created in this database, and you most likely don't have any set up in yours unless you've gone ahead and set some up. But there isn't going to be anything here. So we will run through a quick few minute crash course on setting up some custom fields for products. So first, before we even get into product custom field specifically, I'll show you where we can edit all custom fields for every system component all in one place. I may have shown this in an earlier lesson, but if I just cancel out of this, we come to our system setup, Fengi stores and tills, and our global settings. It is going to be over here on the other names tab. And we can see here that we can maintain custom fields for all these different system components. So we've got accounts, operators, products, so on and so forth. We can open the product custom fields here and confirm that there is indeed nothing configured yet. We could configure them from here, would be a logical thing to do. Maybe if someone were conducting some system setup type stuff, some system maintenance, and creating custom fields maybe for operators first and then for products and then maybe for promotions, would be a logical thing to do if someone were doing something like that. But I will cancel all this and I'll show you an alternate way, which might make more sense if someone is maybe in the middle of editing products themselves and wants to do some custom field maintenance right from the product list. So that is going to be directly from a product record, any product record. And if we open one up there, it's going to be on the custom info tab. Of course, all of this is provided that the operator that is logged into back office has the ability to access and edit custom fields. But from this tab, again, we can see that there's nothing here yet. At the bottom, we have a little button. It's called Edit Custom Fields. Now, if you remember back from the operator privilege lessons, we do have separate flags for viewing and for editing custom fields that are separate for each component. So maybe if you can view custom fields, you might not be able to edit custom fields. So just make sure that both of those flags are on for the operator that you are logged in as at the moment. But yeah, anyway, just want to be efficient with our time here. So trying to slim down this portion a bit, I will not go back into the operator settings to show those flags. But yeah, just to summarize, each component can have its own custom fields defined, meaning that we can define fields here for products and then different fields for operators, different fields for accounts, and so on. You can see that we have 4 different types of custom fields that we can define: flags, numbers, dates, and text. I'll go into this edit custom fields thing here. And so we can define up to 10 separate flags for each component, 5 separate number fields, 5 date fields, and I believe it's up to 20 text fields, although don't hold me to that. That might have changed. We might be able to add more text fields than that, but it will be at least 20 text fields that we can add. So to add them, we would simply click in the next available field and type away, and we just call this test. And same for a number field, same for a date field. Text fields, though, they are going to be a little bit different and they can serve multiple purposes. So we can first define the field name for a text field, and then we can actually add values that can be selected from a dropdown. So we might add a name field here. I'll just call that test. And then if we go into the values here, that's going to open a new window for us so we can add values. So maybe actually I'll call this favorite number, just to show you an example. And then for the values, we might just do 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can just go ahead and save that. Or we could add some text to one of the text fields here. I'll just call that one test. And we could not add values here at all. And in that case, the text field can be used to actually attach a file. So let me just save this and I'll show you how these can all be used. So flags, very simple, just leave off or we can turn on. Numbers, we can enter a number there. Dates, we can either type in a date or we can select this drop down and we can scroll through somewhere to find a date. Dozens of different ways that all these different fields can be used. Like I said, we've got extensive documentation on them with some examples, and I'm sure every organization, every database can probably have their own examples that they could think of or that they may need to use and implement within their system. Now for text fields, the ones that we do have values set for, we can then select from the dropdown. And for those that do not have values set, like I said, we can attach a file to the record. We would just click that. It's going to open up the local directory for us where we can select a file to attach to the record. Now, there are many, many, many ways that custom fields can be implemented throughout the system. Like I said, not just for products. And since they are completely customizable with minimal limitations, we can set quite a few different types of custom fields here: flags, numbers, dates, and text. That opens a lot of different doors to us. There's potentially thousands of ways that they could be set up and used throughout a system. That could be everything from reporting to using with product profiles, implementing maybe account custom fields with account profiles. We will see those in the next lesson, by the way. And custom fields are often also used with integrations and interfaces and much, much more. But like I said, just a quick crash course on custom fields today. We will head back to our product profiles for now. Actually, just cancel that. We'll head back to our product profiles and I will show you how those could then be used with these. So I should mention that most of the custom fields that I just created are here, but only 3 of the 4 custom field types can actually be used in product profiles. It's going to be our flag fields, our custom number fields, and our custom text fields. No dates, unfortunately, can be used within product profiles, but the custom flag fields will have the same options as the standard flags, just is ignore, is true, or is false, and they'll influence the profile in the same manner. If we set one to is true or is false, that will take that into consideration, whether the flag is turned on or off, or just ignore if we don't want to if we do not want to take that into consideration. For example, we might have named this, rather than test, we could have called this featured product or something like that. And by selecting is true, we would then make that a parameter that the flag must be on for a product to qualify to a product profile. But yeah, then for custom number fields, we will first need to set a numerical qualifier here and then enter a value into the field here that relates to that and corresponds to the custom numbers that products have been assigned. Of course, that will be a little bit different for every database depending on how the custom number fields have been set up and used, but again, we've got all these different qualifiers here that we can use to set up the product profile from there. And then for our custom text fields, same qualifiers for these that we saw on the other tab for export codes. So this could be something as simple as if we go to this one, this test one that we had set up for attaching a file. This could be something as simple as length is more than 0, where we're simply validating that the field is being used, that there is something there. But anyway, yeah, there's some bonus material there for you that you probably didn't think we'd be getting into in this product profiles lesson, but a quick crash course in custom fields and how they can be used along with product profiles. Now, I'm sure you can think of some good use cases for custom fields and create some of your own if you'd like. But that's really it as far as the options that we have for creating a product profile and defining the parameters. If we've got some custom fields set up, we can include those. Otherwise, we will have these standard product fields here that we can use. So what we'll do now is we will create a couple quick ones that are a bit more logical than this example that can actually be implemented. So let me just cancel out of that. All right, so first we will add one here that can later maybe be used for something like along with a product promotion for promoting only a selection of beverages that might be on special. So for the base settings here, we will ignore everything except for the product type. We will set that to spirits and cocktails. What I might do then is check and view the products that are going to fit to that single parameter. We can see here it's going to be a mix of products from the database. Some look like they're stocked products, some are non-stocked. There's 60 products total because the only parameter that we've set is that they have the product type of spirits and cocktails. But maybe we don't need to include all of those though, so we might refine our profile a bit more. If I close that, so next we might say that we only want to include products that are within the beverages product group. Well, not in the group directly, but that are in its subgroups. And we can check the matching products again. Now it's only going to be 46 products because we're only looking at products in that portion of the database that are within this beverages menu. So if we actually select that product group, it's still going to be 46 products. So the products that are now being excluded would have been in other product groups, probably down here in the products not for sale, that did have that product sort defined. But now because we are only looking at products that are within this product group, that's why that's been refined a little bit more for us there. But we might want to take things a step further. So if from within that beverage group, maybe we then want to exclude our, if we scroll to the bottom, our top shelf spirits. And now, only 32 products meet the parameters and are returned for us. So we're getting there. But let's say we only want to include products that have the daily special flag turned on. But now if we view products, even if we go to the base product group, we are getting nothing. That's because none of those 32 products that we just saw, which met the other parameters, have that flag turned on. So at the moment, there are no products in the database that meet all of this profile's parameters. It's a bit disappointing because I would like to continue with this example, but it's no problem though. We can edit some products right from here. So how we can do that is if I turn off this product profile selection, if we just set that to no profile, we can then see the product list just like we normally would. We can then open a few products quickly and just turn that flag on for them. So I might just set a couple things here. Let's turn that on for our margarita. and maybe a pina colada. So those 4 products that we have set that flag for should now all match to our product profile. So if we change this back to our number 2 profile, which we haven't named yet, that's why it's just showing as 2, and we set this back to the beverage list, so it's at the top of that group, it's going to include the subgroups within there. We can see that we are now returning 4 products that all meet all of the parameters of that product profile. So there you go, we have not even left the product profile set up, and you can see one of the implementation use cases, which is to filter the product list. In fact, any report where we have the product profile dropdown, where we have a product profile dropdown filter, remember we did see it in the last lesson. If I close out of all of this, I'll just set that to OK. We do need to set a name. Call that Bevs on Special. Save that. So we'll do a quick refresher here. If we head back to our sales reports and to the sales report creator. Cool. This is a nice little reminder too about, I know we went through saved reports in the last lesson, but you will get this from time to time, just reminding us that we can save reports. But anyway, as a refresher, we do have this product profile drop down here, which we can then use to filter the list. And if we wanted to just set this for all time and display, it is, and go to product totals, it's only going to show us and report on products that belong to that profile. In this case, it is only returning 2 products for us because the other 2 products just don't have any data for us to return. So that's one of the main ways that product profiles can be implemented after they're created, is by filtering either the product list itself or a product-based report. All right, we will head back to the product profiles window though, and we will create another quick example. We will do one for, let's go with a product type of food ingredients, and we'll do it for products that have the no reorder flag off and belong to, let's go with the bakery product group. If we then view products, and that's going to be on beverage by default because we were just looking at that. But if we go to the base product group, we are going to have these 3 products here that they are all the bakery items that are ingredient products and do not have the no reorder flag turned on, so we can still order them from our suppliers. So I'll just close that. I'll give this one a name. Bakery items to order, something like that, and I will save that, and I'll show you a quick example of how this could then be used when creating a purchase order. Now, if you don't know what a purchase order is, that's okay. We will be going through that in detail when we get into stock control in a few lessons, but to simplify it for now, it's how we can order products from suppliers is by creating a purchase order and then communicating that purchase order to the suppliers. Now, we don't have any supplier records created in this system yet, of course, but that is okay. If we head to our stock control menu and open purchasing and receiving, again, we will go through all of this in upcoming lessons, so don't worry if I'm going too quick through this, just to show you a quick example of how this can relate back to product profiles. But if we go new purchase order, I'll do all suppliers. Again, since we don't have any created, it doesn't matter for now. And I will also, don't worry, I'll explain these options another time too. For now, we'll just go blank PO. And now we have our new purchase order started. So if we go to add some products to it, this is going to default to the full product list and with no profile selected, but we can use the product profile drop down here and we can filter the list so that we are only seeing products that meet the parameters of the profile. In this case, products from the database that have the product type of food ingredient, that have the no reorder flag turned off, and that do belong to the bakery product group. Now that's going to make the purchase order process at least a bit more efficient, if not a lot more efficient, depending on the size of the database and of course what the profile has been configured to require as far as its parameters go. But I will just cancel out of all of this. I will delete our purchase order here and head back to our product profiles, and we'll go back to our BEVs on special. There's a couple other things I want to show with this, but yeah, we've just seen a couple examples there of how to implement a product profile as a filter. So very handy and useful thing for them. Is one of the main uses of our product profiles once they're created, is to use them to filter, again, either the product list itself or a product-based report. But before we finish up, there is a whole other functionality of product profiles that we have not chatted about yet, and it involves these other settings in the product profile maintenance window that I did point out earlier, this maintain auto key list flag, and the drop down next to it for choosing a size. Now, if you remember back to the lesson when we went over what key lists are and how to configure them, you might recall that they offer us the ability to combine products from different parts of the product list into one list together that can then be used throughout the system to place a key list button on a key map, to configure promotions, etc. Well, with this flag, any product profile can be configured to maintain a key list automatically, completely dynamically, hence the name maintain auto key list. That means that the products that match to a product profile at any given time will be included in the key list wherever it's being used, whether that be in a promotion, on a key map, etc. An auto-maintained key list can be utilized in the same multitude of ways that any other key list can. So for example, we might want this BEVs on special product profile to auto-maintain a key list that can then be added to a key map to then appear on SmartPOS workstations. Then if a product that had met the parameters of the profile and therefore was included in the auto-created key list, if it no longer meets the parameters of the product profile, it'll be removed from the key list just like that. Or we could include the auto-created key list as part of a promotion. You might recall that when we are adding products to promotions, one of the options is to select the key list. However, you might also recall that for a key list to be added to a promotion, that none of the products in it can be configured as select a size. If there is, we get a little warning prompt that says that one of the items within the key list is configured for select a size, and that's just not going to work for us. The key list needs to, every product in the key list needs to have a size defined for it in order for the key list to be used in a promotion. And that is what this key list size selection is for. So if the key map is going to only be used on a key map, it is optional to select a size here. Then in that case, all the available sizes will be available on the key map when the key list is selected by an operator. But if we do intend on using the key list in a promotion, then we do need to select a size here. This won't show any size names that are defined. It will simply list them as size 1 through 10, of course, since different products that match to the profile could have different size names defined. So for our example here, I will just set this to size 1, and I will go ahead and save this. Now, a key list that's being auto-maintained from a product profile will appear with other key lists in the list of key lists. You might remember that key lists can be accessed from the maintenance menu, product key maps, and then view/edit key lists. So by default, the key list name will have a pp underscore prefix, that's for product profile, followed by the name of the product profile, and the description over here is going to state that it was auto-generated as an auto-generated key list from product profile BEVs on special. Cool, and we can actually open the key list here to see which products belong to it, the same 4 that we saw earlier. By the way, while it looks like we can edit the key list manually, and we sort of can, I could add other products to this if I'd like to, the system will correct anything that we do to make sure that the key list only contains products that meet the parameters of the product profile. So let me just go ahead and remove that anyway. But yeah, if we wanted to add this to a key map, let me just close this, and we will open the drinks key map here. So then just click on the space where we'd like to add the key list, and we can select key list from the button type, and then just select it from the list. We may want to enter some override text here to make it a bit more user-friendly for an operator to read and not have that prefix there. There we go, I might just relabel that as drink specials instead. But yeah, since the system will create a dynamic key list based on the product profile's selected parameters, the products which meet the product profile parameters at any given time will be the products that are displayed on the till for operators. So if we double click on the button, the products seen here currently meet the parameters of the product profile. But let's say that our drink specials are changing and maybe the Grand Margarita should no longer be included. So having it unmeet the parameters of the product profile and therefore removing it from the auto-maintained key list is going to be as simple as unticking the daily specials flag. Now it will not meet all of the parameters of the profile, will no longer be included with the profile. So if we go ahead and click that to save that, it will take a minute or two for the key list items to refresh automatically, but it will be removed from the key list without us needing to do anything else. If we would like to manually push any auto-maintained key list changes through, we do have an option. If we go back to the product profiles window, we do just need to click this recreate key list button here. That will add and remove products from all product profile auto-maintain key list. However, even if the button is not clicked, auto-maintain key lists are going to be updated periodically by the system without us needing to actually use this button. So if we go back into our key map here, I will just need to clear this out. And let's give this one a color. I'll just copy that color there. And then I'll save the key map. And we'll check that out from SmartPause. Cool, so here is our key list button that the system has auto-generated for us based on that product profile, which has been configured to maintain a key list, and then we've assigned that key list to this button space on this key map, which is assigned to this till. And when we go ahead and click that, we are going to get all of the size 1s for those products because that's how that product profile has been configured for maintaining this key list. Alright, the final thing we'll look at in this lesson is utilizing an auto-maintained key list in marketing and promotions. As we know from previous lessons, product promotions can be configured with a key list to designate the products that will be included in the promotion. And as I mentioned earlier, they can indeed be created using a key list that is auto-maintained from a product profile. That is going to add a new level of depth to marketing and promotions by having the list of products that are available for the promotions as dynamic as the key list is, which we just saw how easy and quickly they are going to be dynamically maintained. So if we go ahead and add a product promotion and then add to the list of products and we choose key list, there is our pp_bev zone special, same as we saw in the key map setup. And by adding an auto-maintained key list to a product promotion and then setting up a discount, we might just set this to something like 10% off. Only the products meeting the parameters of the profile at a given time will qualify for the promotion. So keep in mind, I was only able to add that key list to the promotion because I had selected a size in the product profile setup. But yeah, for our example here, as maybe other products from the database that are in the beverage product group, but again are not in the top shelf spirits subgroup because that's how we had configured the profile there. If I just save this, I'll give you a refresher. Cool, I'll just leave that with no schedule there. But because of how this is set up, as maybe other products from the database that are within this beverage product group but are not in the top shelf spirit subgroup, so that belong to any of the other beverage subgroups, and have the spirits and cocktails product type, and also have the daily specials flag turned on, they will be meeting all the parameters of this product profile, therefore be included in the auto-maintained key list, and therefore be discounted when the promotion is active. And any products that do not meet all of those parameters will not be. It's as simple as that. But yeah, you can see here that with a little bit of setup, the system can combine multiple components together to create some dynamic and intuitive things like that for us. And of course, don't forget about the custom fields that can be used to take things a step further even. There are also some reports and scheduled jobs and things like that that we can implement to add a couple more layers even to things like this and really embrace the power that the system has to offer. While those higher level topics are beyond the scope of this course, we do have those documented within my BPOS if you're interested. But that will do it for this lesson. Thanks as always for your time and attention, and we'll see you for the next one.